Hello and welcome everyone to a very special conversation that I'm having with Adriana Monique Alvarez. Now, for those people of you who don't know you, like we're going to talk about your upcoming masterclass. And for those of you who don't know you, you are the founder of Amma Publishing and you help successful female entrepreneurs to create their own publishing houses. And this is one of the things that I've done with you. And it's been just such an amazing, amazing journey. Now, you've also been seen on Forbes, Huffington Post, and all of these other incredible high-profile magazines. And your recent book hit #1 in US Today, which is an incredible achievement. USA Today, rather. And you've also created this little gem, the How to Start a Six-Figure Publishing Company. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to share my story of how I started it in here as well, so people can get that. And it's really gem-packed and full of wisdom if anybody is interested in that. And you are also collaborating and contributing to my upcoming book collaboration, which is very exciting. So yeah, you are a very busy lady, or shall we say productive?
Yes, we'll say that.
We'll say that, exactly. And I think in business, often that is the misconception. People still think, oh, if we're so busy, it's a good thing, right? But it actually isn't. And this is one thing I've really learned from you and that I love about you, that you've never really bought into that. And you say at the back of this book here, that you've never been tamed by higher education, the corporate culture, or the status quo. And maybe that is a great story to start with. Like, how did you escape that?
I often think about that because I was the straight A student and I graduated at the top of my class. I was expected to go to college. I was expected to sort of take that career path, but I had no desire for it. What I wanted to do was see the world. And I had always flipped through the pages of National Geographic. And while everyone around me thought that was crazy, I hung on to it. And that's what I ended up doing as I spent my 20s as a volunteer overseas. And that was the foundation for everything I do today.
Amazing. So have you always been a storyteller? You know, we're talking about the magic of storytelling, your upcoming masterclass. Have you always been a storyteller naturally?
I think so. I look at my son Grant, and my parents say he's exactly like me, and he is quite the storyteller, let me tell you. And my parents often say that I'd be, just talking away to God knows who. And so I had these imaginary friends that I guess I was sharing my stories with. And so I think so. I think it's one of those things that's just part of who I am.
What would you say to people who haven't had that naturally? I've got a daughter who's naturally that, but we're not all born storytellers. It's a specific archetype that really helps us to connect to others. Is that something you can teach?
Absolutely. I feel like it's really something that we can answer the call to. It's an invitation. And once we say, yes, we will be willing to be that mouthpiece and that channel of wisdom that wants to flow through, then it becomes something that we dance with. I often say the stories I tell, they're given to me from my angels, my guides, and my ancestors. And so some people, they connect to nature and a story will come to them. They connect to their children and a story will come to them. We all have various things that we can connect to. And that's really the key, is what am I willing to connect deeply to in order for that idea and that nugget to come through, in order to let it go and connect with others on a deep level as well.
And I think this deep level is the key here, isn't it?
It is. Surface level chit chat, talking about the weather, it's not really what we're here to do. And for some of us, we find that we go deep fast. And the beauty of that is that it allows us to find other people who are similar, because they will spot that and it's the most attractive thing to them.
And so in that sense, introverts, just like extroverts, really can become powerful storytellers.
Definitely. The beauty of storytelling is that you don't have to sort of put yourself in these environments where you're constantly, kicking up the conversation and figuring out how to keep this nonstop social circle going. In fact, storytellers, I think, are at their best when they come forward with the story and then they retreat back into what inspires them and fuels them and where that magic happens, which is never in this, busy, loud interaction. It's usually in the quiet and the stillness.
It's in the reflection. So we've got a story, we've got an experience that we have, but it's really the reflection on that creates the connection with somebody else.
It's true. Recently that's what I've been asked to do is when you find a story or a beautiful moment in your day, can you soak it up? Can you fully enjoy it? And then can you take it a step further? Can you find the universal thread, the universal truth, the gift that's there for everyone? And can you articulate that? And that's really what I'm being asked to do.
Exactly. And this is when stories become transformational, not just for ourselves as we're going into that reflective space, but also then bringing our reader, our listener, our potential client into that space where they start to think and reflect, and then they see their story through our story and creating a removed or shifted perspective on what's actually going on for them and creating this enriched experience.
Yes. The minute I can see myself in you, things begin to click because number one, as a society, we realize how connected we are, how I am actually you and you're actually me. And when we get to that place, then it's much less about me against you because then we're sitting on the same side and we're in this together.
And this is where the journey or the power of true collaboration can come in, because we understand we are all one. And yeah, I guess that is something that we have to look forward to in my book about collaboration and that power, because I'm really fascinated by how you have created a whole business model around collaboration and helping each individual that comes into your program, into the publishing, to come into their uniqueness and not to do a, what's the word, cookie cutter approach to publishing, but really tap into their own unique essence. And I believe that this is one of your gifts. You have this gift to inspire us to go deep within, and from that place, to really create our uniqueness and let go of all that competition. And my question to you is that something that you have acquired? Has there been a certain aha moment for you where you've shifted from competition and the status quo that inevitably we're somehow part of, that you've somehow escaped?
Yes.
But it's still in the air, isn't it? Like, it's still in the media, it's still around us. So what was that moment for you where you really stepped into this way of collaborating?
Yes, it's huge. And being an American, competitiveness is a value that we tend to really elevate. And growing up in school, I went to public school, and it was nonstop comparison, competition. I grew up in an environment like most women where I felt like I needed to watch my back. I felt like I was under attack by the mean girls. I spent many days in high school eating by myself. And all I remember thinking is I'm going to do this differently. Women are going to feel safe in my presence. I'm going to make sure that people understand it's not me or them. It's not you're better or I'm better. It's about pause and look at who you are and extract every wonderful thing and highlight that. And so when I left and I traveled overseas and I was by myself, I was outside of my culture, miles away from my family, friends, all of those things, I began to create relationships specifically with women that had a different dynamic. And that's where I practiced it. Then when I came back to the US and I started my business, then I got to put those training wheels on in a culture that often thinks that that's actually foolish, but it's worked out very well for me.
I love that. Yes, and this is the shift that we all need to make, to share each other's stories, to share each other's wisdom, to collaborate with one another. One question, and we've kind of touched about it on it, but one question I have for you is regarding your upcoming masterclass and the title, Turn Your Story into Something Magical. What makes storytelling magical?
Storytelling is magical for so many reasons, but what it does is it unlocks the storyteller's heart. And as a natural progression, a natural consequence, those who are listening soften and open. And when we are in that space, many things can happen. Things we didn't expect, things that we didn't plan, we didn't anticipate. It's like we're giving the universe this space and, the slot between the notes, between everything that we think we know. And that's where the real beauty, the magic, the serendipitous moments can happen.
So really what I'm hearing over and over is that need to slow down, to be fully present so that those things can drop in.
Definitely. Storytelling, it really does take us back to that slower pace, that quality. It might be around the fire, it might be around a meal, it might be around a cup of tea, but it is never in this rushed, frantic manner. It's just this, let's slow down and let's see what wants to come through.
And how did you translate that from the dinner table into the online world?
When I came online, I often heard in groups, I don't want to tell about that. Nobody cares. And what I realized is that it actually is the seemingly insignificant moments of our day-to-day life that are the most meaningful. When I think about the memories that I have with my grandparents, the memories I have with my boys when they were younger, it wasn't a special occasion. We weren't on vacation or at a 5-star resort. It was literally, we were playing with Hot Wheels in the grass. And what I realized is that it's so easy to overlook these day-to-day moments. And so I actually decided to move in the opposite direction. I thought, you know what? What if I make every story important? What if I can highlight themes that matter to all of us, no matter how old we are, what country we come from, how much money we have? What if I can do that? What if I can build bridges? And that's where I started. And then it led to people moving toward me in my business.
Yes. And I know when I started telling stories online and, I had this, what story am I going to tell? I don't know what to tell. What I've done is being with the kids, doing my work and really sitting down and looking, okay, what was the magic today in those little things? And then the next challenge was to not just share it, but to create that reflective quality on that so that it could relate to others. So yeah, it's a practice, isn't it? But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to practice.
It is. There's many gifts and blessings in there, so many gems. And like anything, the more dedicated we are to it, the better it gets.
Tell us about tomorrow. So your masterclass is tomorrow, 7 a.m. our time in Australia and 5 p.m. your time or Eastern Daylight Savings in America. Is that right?
So actually, we might be a day ahead. Hold on, you're going to have to help me. So it's Wednesday. God knows that this is something I also have to practice is time zones.
Time zones are crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it's Wednesday night in the US. So
yeah,
I think
Wednesday,
that's
5 p.m.,
Thursday
right?
morning for you. What
This
day is it
true.
for you right now?
Oh my goodness, yes? It is true. Today is Tuesday. So I got this wrong. Let's just take that off. Yes, so Thursday morning our time in
Yes.
Australia, 7 a.m. Thursday morning, and for you 5 p.m. in the States. Yes, beautiful. And I'll correct that in the list. But I'm curious to hear, what can people expect? Like, what will they walk away with when they join you?
One of the things that I've been asked to do is bring worlds together. And I've noticed that spiritual people who have a deep connection and and who really are meant to be the storytellers of our generation, they don't always realize and see everything that can unfold. And what I want to do is bring it all together. Yes, I am connected. Yes, I am a storyteller. Yes, I am willing. Yes, I will be the channel. And what is the most impact that I can have? So we're going to talk about how that can lead to clients and those who that we're meant to serve to move toward us, how we can add 1 to 300,000 to the business through storytelling, how we can also find our way into the highest caliber networks through those stories we share, and how we can get ongoing media attention for our business. Because I think that you and I can agree that the most powerful, influential, spiritual leaders are not meant to be hiding in a cave. This is the time for those voices to be seen and heard on the biggest platforms we have access to.
Absolutely. It's time to have not just the power shift in the politicians and in that world from an old world into a new, but also in terms of creating new leaders. And I think both you and I have that intention of helping those leaders really step into their full power and really trust and know that that is what they're meant to be doing, and to encourage them to step into that inner knowing. And you're providing an incredible platform for that to happen through through those things, through the masterclass and the programs that you're offering, and of course, the stories that they can share in all of the books that are springing out as a result of more and more of us creating these publishing houses.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for doing the work that you're doing, and I look forward to being part of it. If you guys can make it live, come live, because there is a magic that happens in a shared experience. And yeah, it's just so nice to just be part of that container. But if you can't, of course, go and sign up anyway to catch the replay. I always come away from your master classes, Adriana, with feeling more dropped into myself, more inspired, and more ready to do the work that I'm here to do. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.